Right now on WDSU, safety concerns still an issue in downtown New Orleans as city leaders begin the next phase of search and recovery on the Hard Rock Hotel collapse. Coming up, the ongoing efforts to find the 2 victims killed.
And the cold frontal boundary just about offshore. I'll tell you what that means for your out-the-door temperatures this morning.
And affordable housing now at the forefront here in New Orleans. How you can voice your concerns in the matter. That's right now on WDSU News this morning.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News this morning.
And good morning as you wake up at 6 o'clock on this Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Randy Russo.
I am Charles Divins, and if you haven't noticed, it's a lot cooler this morning outside than it has been. Here's meteorologist Quayla Murphy with the first look of your forecast. Quayla, good morning.
Good morning. A lot of people appreciating this feel this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s, sliding in. Also some 60s. It's the frontal boundary that has now moved offshore. Behind it, some cooler and drier air. High pressure will eventually help to supply some sunshine this morning. We still have some clouds left across the area, starting to break up a bit on the North Shore, but expect more sunshine as the day goes on. Cooler than yesterday by 11 to 16 degrees for most locations. 59 now in Bogalusa and Hammond, 62 from Slidell and south to the South Shore, 65 in Biloxi, 64 in Gulfport. Right now at the airport, 66, winds north at 9. It's a little breezy out there for some spots too. 20 miles per hour was the case at the Lakefront Airport, now down to 18. So you get the picture there. Still a small craft advisory for our coast. Highs today around the mid 70s, so we're not going to warm up too much. Actually a couple degrees below average. More on the rest of the week's forecast coming up. Here's Kelly Brown with traffic.
All right, good morning, Quaylen, and good news, no accidents or breakdowns, no reports of any major issues if you're traveling from the North Shore. Causeway commuters restriction and advisory free. That southbound commute looks pretty good. If you're traveling from Kenner into Metairie, things look great all the way into Mid-City. We're still dealing with those closures near the Hard Rock Hotel, so keep that in mind and plan for some extra time as you make your way out. Coming inbound from New Orleans East, we have clear conditions across the high-rise bridge. Here's a live look at that drive in. That upslope looking pretty good. Downslope looks great as well, and no reports of any issues on the spillway. Back to you, Randy and Charles.
Kelly, thank you for that. Well, you mentioned the Hard Rock Hotel there, and the city of New Orleans is now moving forward to recover the victims from that collapse at the construction site.
Yeah, but each and every step being taken very carefully to avoid any further injury or loss of life. As Heath Allen tells us, it's going to take some time. Heath, good morning.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Randy. It will take some time. Obviously, this is now and continues to be a huge operation. Safety, of course, is going to be the watchword. Next step in this whole process, heavy equipment is going to be brought in. The move now is to go ahead and lift the tons and tons of concrete that collapsed here, 10 days ago. 2 bodies still remain in the rubble. That is what is foremost on everyone's mind, and they will go slowly, they will go meticulously to go ahead and remove the concrete and recover those bodies. Of course, the implosion over the weekend secured the cranes, so the site is basically as safe as it has been ever since the collapse. But again, they're going to take their time, they're going to move slowly. Again, bottom line, safety is the watchword.
It's 7 floors are on this poor individual, and they're collapsed on them, and there's just no getting in there safely. They're still collapsed, and the goal is to pick that off of there very carefully, piece by piece, from the top down, because we can't have anything fall on the first responders who are there doing it. We haven't lost another life, and we got to keep it that way.
Again, it's simple as that. Safety is the watchword at this point. So they'll bring in the heavy equipment, they'll go ahead and remove the concrete, they'll recover the bodies, and then what's left of the hard rock will be taken to the ground. Guys, back to you.
All right, Heath Allen for us, thank you for that. Well, this morning, a Metairie woman is cleaning up the damage after being woken up to flames. Her home here on William David Parkway near Harrison caught fire around 3 o'clock this morning. Firefighters say she was able to escape and run to a neighbor's house to call for help. The fire was put out in about an hour and a half, and the cause is still under investigation.
And breaking from overnight, Justin Trudeau will serve another term as Canada's Prime Minister after Liberals won a plurality of seats in Parliament. But the incumbent emerged from Monday's election weakened as his party lost seats, and Trudeau will lead a minority government. The quick declaration of Trudeau's victory came as a surprise after he was deadlocked with the polls in the polls, with conservative leader Andrew Scheer during a 6-week campaign. Still, with a minority government, Trudeau will need to forge alliances with other parties to advance his priorities.
Meanwhile, William Taylor, the acting de facto U.S. ambassador in Ukraine, is set to appear at a deposition before the House today as part of the ongoing impeachment inquiry into the president. Now, Taylor made headlines when his text messages with former special envoy for Ukraine, Colt Volker, and also U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, were released. He feared that President Trump's strategy could become, quote, a nightmare, and said that the policy that he and his colleagues were executing might actually prompt him to quit. Well, both Volker and Sondland have spoken to impeachment investigators in recent weeks.
And this comes after President Trump addresses Syria and the impeachment inquiry during a cabinet meeting yesterday. In an exchange with reporters, Mr. Trump pushed back against the notion U.S. forces may be left in northern Syria. He said besides protecting oil assets, the U.S. is pulling its troops out, arguing America has no obligation to protect its Kurdish allies. And Mr. Trump also claims impeachment is the only tool Democrats have to deprive him of a second term in office.
I think they want to, any Democrat wants to, because they're not going to beat me in the election. So of course they want to impeach. Why wouldn't they want to impeach me? It's so illegitimate. It cannot be the way the founders, our great founders, meant this to be.
President Trump is now calling on his own party to go against Democrats on the impeachment.
6:06 now, and new this morning, and new report shows that deaths on the roadways are on the decline for the second year in a row, dropping last year by nearly 1,000 compared to 2017. Research shows that deaths related to alcohol, speeding, and motorcyclists all significantly dropped, including deaths among children. The Department of Transportation says the numbers for the first half of 2019 also show a decline so far. Well, later on today, 2 suspects accused of getting into a shootout with police while robbing a CVS store will be in court. Richard Sansbury and Alan Parson are both expected to have a pretrial conference today. Police say the pair was trying to steal prescription drugs when a shootout broke out between them and police. If convicted, those men could face possible life sentences.
And 32-year-old Tashani Toney will begin his trial next week. This comes after he admitted that he was drunk when he plowed his car into a group of bicyclists last year after the Endymion parade. He pleaded guilty to 14 of 16 criminal charges, but Toney didn't plead to the 2 most severe charges, vehicular homicide. That's because there are still questions over his blood alcohol level. Prosecutors say it's 0.20, while Toney's legal team says it's 0.14.
It's very unusual, and what the defense is trying to show is that he's accepted responsibility for what he did.
If convicted, he faces 40 years in jail for each count.
Meanwhile, a man is behind bars after police say that he tried to give an inmate contraband while inside criminal court. Well, Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office says that the 24-year-old Henry Campbell was arrested before he could actually pass along the package. A rubber glove stuffed with synthetic marijuana and another packet containing prescription pills. Sheriff Roland Gusman issued this statement saying, quote, that the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office remains vigilant about blocking attempts to introduce contraband into the Orleans Justice Center. We will not let our guard down, end quote.
This morning at 11, New Orleans Redevelopment Authority is hosting a press conference on affordable housing and the construction of 10 affordable home ownership units along Andrews Street. This comes as one group is asking neighbors to fill out a survey to get a better idea of the issue right here in the city. Now, for the second year in a row, Housing NOLA gave the city a D rating when it comes to affordable housing because within the year the city lost more affordable homes than it gained. The group's executive director said by filling out the survey, you're going to help their efforts in helping the city get a better letter grade.
Housing costs have just spiraled out of control. In the last 5 years alone, we've seen a 50,000 increase on home values, and rents have gone up 10% over the same time period. Meanwhile, wages have remained the same.
The survey deadline is next Monday. It's October 28th. Well, caught on camera, a resource officer now without a job after video surfaces of him assaulting an 11-year-old. What sparked the altercation? Coming up.
Plus, services are set for the Xavier University graduate who was shot and killed by a Texas officer in her home. How a community here is honoring her life.